It has been a long 2 years here in Iowa, with year 1 ending in me eating nothing but tag soup for dinner. In 2015, the wait finally paid off in a big way. This is the story of the lucky $10 and how he entered and exited our lives multiple times, all in the same weekend.
So it's November 6th, and we're set up on a completely new piece of ground in a tree overlooking a cut bean field with a ditch behind us with standing corn on that side. A nice cold front came in last night, so we're really hoping this gets the bucks up on their feet and searching hard for those first few does and estrus. Corey's behind the camera today, but he also brought his bow for the longer shots across the ditch that I don't really have a good angle at, so hopefully one of us will at least get a shot at something today.
As soon as we got into the stand, even before we could get any of the camera equipment set up, there were deer all around us. It started with a buck chasing off a few does 10 yards behind us on the other side of the ditch before legal shooting light, and continued into the early morning with a couple of does and a nice buck out across the bean field just as the sun started to peek up. As the buck turned and started to walk away, Corey tried his hand at rattling this buck in for a closer look. When this buck started coming in, he was definitely looking for a fight. Two smaller bucks also ended up coming in to check out what was going on. As the Big Ten jumped the fence, he saw these two yearlings and I believe came to the conclusion that they were the ones fighting. So he did what bullies do best and went out over to intimidate and scare them both off. After he was satisfied with the two smaller bucks leaving, he started to cross the bean field and make a path right for me, only to hang up around 100 yards. He ate out there for a few minutes and disappeared down the ditch. All of a sudden, he popped up back on the other side of the ditch and was coming quick down the edge of the corn. I grabbed the camera and Corey reached for his bow.
So we just saw a big-bodied deer over on the terrace about 300, 400 yards away. We couldn't really get a good look at his rack, so I threw out a couple rattling sequences at him, and turns out he came running into it and brought in two smaller bucks along the way. We thought sure he was going to get a nice easy shot at him about 20 or 30 yards out here in the bean field. But like older mature bucks do, he cut downwind, crossed the ditch, and came out on the other side of the tree. Luckily I had brought my bow with me, so I prepared for the shot, and my rangefinder said he was at 40, so put the pin right at 40, and I was dead set on his heart, let the arrow fly, and ended up being at 30 yards, so I think I might be buying a new rangefinder after today, as this isn't the first time this has happened to me this year, so hopefully another one comes back out. It's still pretty early. Well, it's November 6th here in southwest Iowa, and the rut is definitely on. We have already seen 4 different bucks this morning. One we had a shot at, but didn't quite get to take it. We missed high, so I'm in need of a new rangefinder, I think. But Shree's off to work now, and I'm sitting in, holding tight the rest of the day. She's going to be back out here around 2:30, and if I don't get one by then, hopefully she can lay the smack down on a big Iowa giant.
I made it. Finally. Jeez Louise. That wasn't too fun. Especially all by myself.
So after this morning's sit, we haven't seen too much activity. Shree went to work and didn't see anything while she was gone. She got back and haven't really seen anything except for one doe and a small button buck right towards last light, but don't think much more is going to come out tonight. Gonna film for the last 10 minutes or so and get back after it tomorrow.
So we've been in the stand for about an hour and a half now, and so far we saw a doe up on the hill whenever it was first getting light out, and then we just saw a doe come through by the creek, and then following her was a buck chasing her, trying to get some action. We saw a few other doe up on the hill, so there's definitely movement. We're just waiting for something to move under us.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but when Sheree and I are in the woods, we like to play a little bit of practical jokes on each other. Mainly, I like to play practical jokes on Sheree. Normally, this simply includes things like calling her name and having her turn into my finger, or just throwing sticks at her while pretending it wasn't me. But when the time is right and I haven't pulled it for a while, I like to fake her out like a big buck is coming or a deer just entered our field. Every once in a while, this light-hearted fun backfires on me though. When a deer actually shows up, Sheree doesn't believe me and continues playing on her phone or looking in the opposite direction. This is exactly what happened as a nice 3.5-year-old 8-point stepped out on the hill behind us in the corn. As we were watching this 8-point work his way down the hill towards us, I glanced up for a second, and wouldn't you know it, Lucky 10 had stepped out right on the same path that the 8-pointer had come down. For a brief second, I thought Lucky 10 was going to come down and challenge the 8-pointer to a fight, but then soon realized they were both out traveling together. There were no does that had come down the hill where these bucks came, and I had not thrown out any calls recently. I simply think the two bucks were oddly just searching for does together, unbothered by one another's presence like they were back in their summer bachelor group. After I realized the Lucky 10 buck from the morning before was going to follow the 8 points path, I prepared myself for the shot, and this time I made sure my sight was set for 30 yards instead of 40.
definitely got a solid hit on there. It's not the best hit in the world. I think it's liver. So I want to try to give this buck, definitely give him a little while, and we'll get after him. But there was a nice 8-point in front of him that I was going to take until I saw him coming down, and I knew that was my buck from yesterday. So hopefully the good Lord will let us get a nice blood trail on this guy, and hopefully we can find him here within the next 4 or 5. It's so bad. I'm not even cold. What the heck is going on with me?
Well, lesson learned. Always listen to your wife, because Corey did not want to sit here today, and I told him we should. So.
We got better red blood than I thought we were going to get on it. So it's about 2 hours after I shot my buck. We're heading out, and the trail we were walking out on to go to the truck to give him some more time, he ended up being bedded on. So we jumped him from the bed right here. It's not much blood. There's a little bit on this branches coming out here. He jumped the fence and went into the CRP field, so hopefully we can get back on him in a few hours. We're going in after my buck that I'm calling the Lucky 10 because I missed him 2 days ago and I thought he was going to have a free pass till next year. I ended up sticking him yesterday, and we think it was a liver shot, so we wanted to be extra certain and let him sit overnight. But hopefully we come back to you in a few hours with a nice buck on the ground. So we're here on the trail that we were walking out on, which is the Trace. It's a common biker trail, and we didn't think he was going to be bedded right here, but this is where we jumped him, right over to my left. So we're going to try to pick up the blood trail here and see if we can't find him in hopefully within 100 yards. As we searched for multiple hours through the CRP field before church, I had an eerie feeling growing over me that we weren't going to find this buck. The CRP was so thick and tall that you couldn't see more than 5 feet to either side of you. We headed out empty-handed, but after church was finished, I couldn't shake the feeling of knowing this buck was dead, but not being able to find him. I went over the footage over and over again on the computer, and getting multiple people's feedback, and they all seemed to be saying the same thing, that this buck was dead. I just needed to put in the time to find him. The next possible time I could head out to search for this buck was Monday, November 9th after work. I went directly to the area I thought the deer had the highest chance of being in and started wading through the CRP like a fine-tooth comb. Not 30 minutes into the search, I started to smell an odd odor and ended up finding him as Cherie pulled into the farm to help me with the search.
Well, I just saw Corey. He hasn't seen me yet, or heard me apparently, but I knew it. He's right where we stopped looking yesterday. It got dark out and we figured we'd call it quits because we searched back and forth at least 15 times. There he is.
Perseverance pays off, I guess. So I was sitting in school today and just pondering this buck over and over again. Even showed the video to my students in class, and I was asking for drones for farmers around town that have them for field surveys and things like that. I was asking to rent drones and borrow drones, and came out after school, started grid searching in the most suspect location that I thought he might be. We smelled a rutting buck out here last night when we were searching, and I thought that was going to be him, but we never quite found it. We were searching the lower side of the CRP down here, but so I came back today and just started grid searching, walking up and down, north and south. So thank the good Lord that I actually got this buck, and it's not the way we wanted to, so get ready for a little bit of a gruesome scene because the coyotes have gotten into him. It looks like the last 2 nights and I've been feeding pretty heavy on him, but at least we got him. I'll wrap my tag around him and That's my Iowa bow season for you.